Level 1, the errand boy. It starts with a call at 2:13 a.m. You don't recognize the number. You answer anyway. A voice tells you to come outside. No questions. The street is empty when you step out. A black SUV idles with its headlights off. The back door opens without anyone stepping out. You hesitate for half a second. Then you get in. No one explains anything. They don't need to. You already know why you're here. You've been circling this world for months. Small favors, quiet deliveries, asking the right people the wrong questions. Now the door has closed behind you. Inside the SUV, a man in a pressed shirt hands you a phone and a plastic wrap package. 3 stops, he says. No mistakes. That's your interview. You don't ask what's inside the package. You don't ask who it's for. You don't ask what happens if you fail. You already know the answer. The first drop is a laundromat. The second is a construction site where no one is working at 3 a.m. The third is a house with no lights and a camera watching the door. You follow instructions exactly. Knock twice. Leave the package. Walk away. At 4:07 a.m., the phone buzzes. Good, the voice says. Go home. That's it. No congratulations. No welcome. Just usefulness. By the end of the week, you've made 12 more runs. Cash. Packages. Phones. You memorize routes, faces, timings. You learn which doors to avoid, which cameras matter, which ones don't. You're not part of anything yet. You're just reliable. And in this world, that's the only currency that matters at the beginning. You tell yourself it's temporary. You tell yourself you're in control. But every time the phone rings, you answer faster. Level 2, the runner. You don't wait for calls anymore. They expect you to be ready. By the second month, you're moving $80,000 in cash across the city in a single night. Vacuum-sealed bricks in gym bags. You switch cars twice. You avoid main roads. You know which police checkpoints are real and which ones belong to them. Because they do. That's the first time you realize it. A uniformed officer waves you through without checking the trunk. Doesn't even look at you. Later, someone tells you his name. Not as a warning, just as information. You start to understand the shape of things. This isn't just a cartel. It's infrastructure. You're given a contact list. 5 numbers. No names. Each one represents a piece of the machine. Drivers, stash houses, safe routes, clean money. You're told never to save them. Never to write them down. You memorize them anyway. Mistakes cost more now. One night, another runner disappears. No explanation. No mention. His number stops working. His name is never said again. You don't ask. You adjust. You double-check everything. You start carrying a second phone, just in case. You keep cash hidden in 3 different places on your body. You stop telling your friends where you go at night. Eventually, you stop seeing them at all. It's easier that way. Safer. You tell yourself you're just moving things. You're not part of what happens after. But you know that's not true. And you keep going anyway. Level 3, the trusted hand. The first time they let you inside, it's quiet. No weapons drawn. No blindfold. Just a door that opens. The room smells like leather and money. There's a table, for men, and a stack of documents you're not supposed to read. But you glance anyway. Shipping manifests. Bank transfers. Government permits. All stamped. All official. All owned. You're consistent, one of them says, without looking up. That's rare. Consistency is promotion. You're no longer just moving packages. Now you're handling people. You pick up a man from the airport using a passport that isn't his. You drive him through a checkpoint without stopping. You deliver him to a hotel where the front desk doesn't ask questions. You don't know his name, but you know he matters. Because they trusted you with him. You start attending briefings. Small ones. 10 minutes at a time. Enough to understand your role, not enough to see the whole picture. But the edges are visible now. You see how shipments line up with political events. How money moves before laws change. How contracts get approved before bids are even submitted. You realize something uncomfortable. They don't avoid governments. They own them. And now you're inside that system. You get paid more. A lot more. $15,000 a week, cash. But the money feels different now. Heavier. Attached. You're not just useful anymore. You're trusted. Which means you're also watched. Always. Level 4, the operator. The first time you give an order, your voice doesn't shake. You notice that. That's how you know something has changed. You're assigned a small team, 3 runners, one driver, one contact inside local law enforcement. You coordinate movements, manage schedules, handle problems before they reach anyone above you. You become a filter. Nothing messy goes up the chain. That's your job. One night, a shipment goes missing. $200,000 in product. Someone on your team made a mistake. Or maybe they didn't. It doesn't matter. You're responsible. You find the weak link within 24 hours. A runner who took a shortcut. Got seen. Got followed. He swears it wasn't his fault. You believe him. That's the problem. Belief doesn't matter here. Outcome does. You make the call. Not out loud. Not dramatically. Just a quiet instruction to someone who doesn't ask questions. The runner disappears the next day. No one mentions it. Your team runs smoother after that. You sleep less. Not because you're afraid. Because your mind doesn't turn off anymore. You're always calculating. Always anticipating. Always preparing for something to go wrong. And when nothing does, it feels strange. Like you missed something. You're no longer reacting. You're controlling. And control is addictive. Level 5, the insider. You're invited to a meeting that doesn't appear on any schedule. That's how you know it matters. The room is smaller this time. Fewer people. Higher stakes. On the table, a map, 3 phones, and a list of names you recognize from the news. Judges, ministers, military officers, assets. You'll handle coordination, they tell you. Not logistics. Not deliveries. Coordination. That means aligning operations with decisions made at the highest levels. A shipment doesn't move until a law passes. A rival doesn't fall until a contract is signed. You're not just part of the machine anymore. You're syncing it. You start speaking directly to people who once felt untouchable. They answer your calls. They follow your timelines. Not because of you. Because of what stands behind you. That distinction matters. You begin to understand leverage. It's not money. It's not violence. It's information. Who owes what? Who did what? Who can't afford to be exposed? You maintain files. Quietly. Carefully. And one day, you realize you know enough to destroy half the people you work with. You don't act on it. You store it. That's power. Your world gets smaller. Tighter. Cleaner. You trust fewer people. You need fewer people. And somewhere along the way, you stop thinking about leaving. Because there's nowhere to go. Level 6, the authority. Your name starts carrying weight. Not publicly. Never publicly. But in the right rooms, it changes conversations. You oversee entire regions now. Multiple teams. Millions moving weekly. Political timelines, security adjustments, internal discipline. You don't execute anymore. You decide. A governor delays a decision. You apply pressure. Quietly. A shipment gets flagged at a port. It clears within the hour. A rival group pushes into your territory. They don't stay long. You learn the difference between influence and control. Influence asks. Control doesn't need to. Your days are structured, precise. Calls at exact times. Reports delivered in formats you designed. Problems presented with solutions already attached. You've built a system that runs smoothly. Too smoothly. Because now the only real threat is internal. Ambition. You see it in others the same way it once lived in you. You manage it carefully. Reward loyalty. Remove instability. Always quietly. Always clean. You don't raise your voice. You don't need to. And yet, something shifts. You have more power than ever. But less freedom. Every move matters. Every word is recorded, if not by devices, then by memory. You're no longer climbing. You're maintaining. And maintaining is harder. Level 7, the power broker. You don't attend meetings anymore. You create them. Presidents, CEOs, generals, they sit at tables you arrange. They discuss outcomes you've already mapped out. You don't just operate within the system. You shape it. Entire policies change based on your timelines. Markets shift. Borders open and close. You're no longer reacting to power. You're distributing it. Carefully. Strategically. You hold relationships like weapons. Each one balanced against another. Each one replaceable, but not easily. Trust becomes a liability. So you don't rely on it. You rely on leverage. A recorded conversation. A hidden account. A favor that can't be repaid. You keep everything. Nothing is wasted. At this level, violence is inefficient. Information is cleaner. Faster. Permanent. You rarely see the ground anymore. No warehouses. No shipments. No streets. Just decisions. Abstract. Distant. And yet, the consequences are heavier than ever. A single choice can collapse a government. Or save one. You stop asking which is right. You start asking which is necessary. And for the first time, you feel something close to isolation. Not fear. Not regret. Just distance. From everything. From everyone. Even from yourself. Level 8. The architect. The room is silent. It always is. No phones. No windows. No interruptions. Just you, a table, and the system you've spent years building. You don't run operations anymore. You don't need to. Everything moves without you. That's the design. You've created something that sustains itself. A network of power so embedded in governments, economies, and institutions that removing you wouldn't stop it. It would just adapt. That's the final realization. You were never the system. You were a part of it, just like everyone else. The difference is, you can see it now. Clearly. Completely. You review reports out of habit, not necessity. Numbers, names, outcomes. They don't surprise you anymore. Nothing does. Power at this level isn't loud. It's quiet. Predictable. Heavy. You don't have rivals. You don't have peers. You don't even have allies. Just variables. And variables are meant to be controlled. Or removed. You think about the first call sometimes. 2:13 a.m. How simple it felt. How small the world was. Now it's everything and nothing. Because there's nowhere left to go. No higher level. No next step. Just maintenance. Endurance. Silence. And somewhere across the city, a phone rings. A new number. A new voice. A new recruit steps outside, unsure but willing. He sees the SUV. He hesitates. Just for a second. Then he gets in. He thinks it's a beginning. He thinks he understands the rules. He doesn't. But he will.